The story starts inside a forest where two girls were being attacked by ugly disgusting bandits, but before the bandits could give them the taste of their Excalibur, a knight flashed from behind, slashing the bandits in half in a single strike. This overpowered MC was Ark, who woke up in another world, and was shocked to see that he had a new body. He calmed down and recognized the armor he was wearing. He noticed that not only the armor but also the weapons he was carrying looked familiar. He realized that he was reincarnated as his game character named Ark. He tested out his wyvern slash and inferno magic, and also learned that he even possessed all the classes instead of one. He was glad to realize that he was overpowered and wondered what he should do next.
Cocaine and hookers, my friend.
Right.
Suddenly, his stomach growled, and he planned to find the nearest town. Ark activated a skill called Gate, but almost Isaiki'd himself, as he could only teleport to places where he has been before. However, he also had a skill called Dimension Move which worked as a short-range teleportation. Later, when he tried to drink water from a river, he realized that he was an ugly disgusting skeleton, and choosing a skeleton avatar was a mistake. He decided to keep his helmet on, so he wouldn't be mistaken for a monster. When he arrived at the Louviert Castle town, a woman asked him if he wanted to buy something, but Ark realized that he was broke in this world too. However, he got hungry watching a crispy duck being grilled in front of him, and decided to earn some money. He went to look for a guild, and found the hottest elf girl of his dreams. Unfortunately, he lost sight of the elf girl, but he found the mercenary guild instead. Inside the guild, Ark attracted a lot of attention because he was a white knight. Ark asked the receptionist, Paul, about the jobs, but Paul thought he was a knight from the royal army. Ark said he was fired, and Paul explained that he had to bring 3 defeated monsters to the guild in order to pass the mercenary trials. Paul feels bad that such a mighty knight had to do these quests, and believes that he's doing all these for his sick child, while Ark is excited about making money and enjoying his Isekai life.
My time has come.
A few hours passed, and Ark only had to kill one more monster to complete his task. Suddenly, an orc appeared out of a bush, but he attacked the orc with his sword slash and defeated it with a single strike. After the fight, he planned to go back to the guild to get his license, but on the way, he saw that a carriage was attacked by bandits, and saw the 2 girls in the beginning of the story who were being abused. He decides to help them, and kills 3 bandits in a single strike. Meanwhile, the other bandits were shocked because their boss was killed, and tried to escape from Ark because they knew he was overpowered. However, Ark used his wyvern slash and erased them from existence. Afterwards, Rita thanked Ark for saving Laura, and he learned that Rita was Laura's servant. He was excited to see them, but realized that he didn't have the right bone to do anything.
Emotional damage!
So he asked them to change into new clothes. He then disposed of the bandits' corpses using a fire spell. While the girls changed clothes, Ark realized that no one was watching him, and decided to loot the bandit stuff. A few moments later, Laura thanked him again for the rescue, and he accompanied them back to the city. Rita asked his name, and he introduced himself as Ark, and told them that he is a traveling adventurer. In the evening, he arrives at the guild, and he shows Paul the defeated monsters. Paul was surprised that it only took Ark a day to complete his task. He told Ark that he can take the magic runes from the monsters, which he could use to make powerful weapons. Ark gets his guild license, and immediately sets off to an inn. He orders dinner to his room, and thinks that food in this world is very tasty. Afterwards, looking at a runestone, he plans to explore this world more, and plans to enjoy his new fantasy life. The following day, Ark traveled to a village for his first job. He showed the villager the job request, and he was given directions to Siona's house. He thought that this is exactly the kind of quest he needs to keep a low profile. Then we see Marka, who is having breakfast with her little sister, Helena. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door, and she was shocked to see a scary-looking knight. Sometime earlier, Ark decided to take up the job Marka had posted for protection request for collecting medicinal herbs, and Paul thought that he was a useless knight to take up such a small request. Marka is glad that a knight took her job, and Ark tells her that he is exactly looking for this kind of early game quest to start with, while Marka wonders what this moron is talking about. They head into the forest, and Marka tells Ark that she is collecting medicinal herbs to support her family as her father passed away last year. Ark was touched by her kind heart, and promised that he would use every bone in his body to make her single mother happy.
What do you mean by that?
Shortly thereafter, Marka discovered medicinal herbs, and Ark was impressed by her knowledge. Just then, Ark sensed a monster, and it turned out to be a 9-tailed fox who was injured. The fox tried biting him, but he began healing the fox, allowing it to finally walk without pain, and it started to follow him around. He named the fox Ponta, and decided to make it his pet, hoping to unlock the 9-tailed fox plot development path. Meanwhile, in the village a man warns the villagers about a dangerous monster in the forest, and Siona learns about Marka leaving the village with a knight, which makes her worry. Back in the forest, they find a huge tree, but when Marka ran closer to it, a huge basilisk appeared, and ate a bird that was flying away. Based on Ponta's reaction, Ark realized that this monster had injured Ponta, and before it could crush Marka down, Ark teleported her away. The monster tries to finish him off with a poisonous fog, but he dodges it with his dimension move. Suddenly, the monster began to attack Ark again, but he blocked all the attacks with his sword. The monster kept attacking, but Ark bravely protected Marka, and remained on guard against the monster's poisonous fog. However, the monster activated its unique spell that petrified its enemies, but Ark fended it off with his holy shield. Ark was getting overwhelmed by the monster's attacks, and it tries to kill Ark again with its poison fog. Ark decides to counterattack and casts his judgment spell on the basilisk, splitting it in half. Even Ark was shocked by how powerful his attack was, but noticed a strange ring on the monster which disintegrated before his eyes. Just then, he spotted a fong boar, so he decided to kill it to give it to the villagers. Back in the village, everyone was surprised that he wanted to give them the meat, and they thanked him for this great gift. Meanwhile, Siona was glad to see her daughter, as nothing bad happened to her in the forest. She was grateful to Ark for protecting her daughter, and Ark has finally managed to unlock the single mother plot development path.
Yeah, boy.
The village elder asks if Ark encountered a dangerous monster in the forest, but he didn't talk about the basilisk, and they were glad nothing happened to them. In the evening, Marka and Rita thanked him, and made a gift for their new daddy. However, he only wants to be the daddy of the hot elf girl, and bids farewell to them. Later, we see some knights manage to defeat a single basilisk with great struggle, and the head of the knights was reported to have suffered many casualties in battle, but he was shocked when he learned that a defeated basilisk was found nearby, and it was killed by a single strike. We then see Ark enjoying his dinner with Ponta, and he intends to try a more challenging quest next. A few weeks pass, and we see a dark elf named Ariane, who is searching around for the kidnapped elves. She is the daughter of the elf leader and sees Ark outside the kidnapper's location. Sometime before, Ark and Ponta entered a cave where he heard that the bandits had kidnapped elves and found a pile of gold, and realized that he could finally pursue his dreams.
I'm rich! Hey!
He also found cages but decided to go back home because they were empty. Somewhere else, a butler named Celsica reports to his master that the assassination attempt on Lord Louvierit's daughter had failed, and she was saved by a passing mercenary who had wiped out the paid bandits. Also, the 2 basilisks they sent to Louvierit's land were defeated. Celsica wonders why Prince Darius was targeting the Louvier, and Lord Dento suspects that they wanted to kill the Louvier family for political reasons. Meanwhile, Ark leaves the cave and heads back to town to have dinner, but the elf girl attacks him, mistaking him for the kidnapper. He dodged her attacks, and her cloak revealed her face, making him realize it was the hot elf girl of his dreams. She asks him to return the kidnapped children, and he tries to clear up the misunderstanding, but the elf girl thought he was lying. As she was about to attack him again, she spots Ponta, and realizes that this spirit creature only approaches people with a pure heart. At that moment, she understood that Ark wasn't her enemy and apologized for attacking him. Ark learned that the bandits had kidnapped elves and understood why there were cages in the cave. He said that he had wiped out the bandits and that there were no elves in the cave. Ark offers to help her because he always dreamed of developing a plot with an elf, but she rejects him as he's just an ugly human knight who'll only get in her way.
Emotional damage!
Back home, he ordered dinner to his room, and wondered how he would find the elf girl, as he didn't plan to give up the plot development path. The next morning, Ark and Ponta set out, and they planned to find his future waifu. Using his dimension move they reach near an elf forest. Suddenly, they sense enemies nearby, and we see an elf girl who was trying to run away from a bandit. However, the bandit captures her, and shows her off to his leader named Jimmy. He stabs her leg, telling her to beg him for mercy, but even after she begs, he continues stabbing her. Ark was disgusted by the bandits who kidnapped elves to sell them as slaves, and just as he's about to act against this, the elf girl shows up. She attacks the bandits and immediately defeats two of them. The bandits surrounded her, and one of them wanted to feel her giant plots, but she cut off the bandit's arm and started attacking the bandits. Jimmy realizes that she is overpowered, and Ark was impressed by her abilities. However, Jimmy took the elf children hostage, and told her to stop. She had no choice but to obey, and just as the bandits are about to develop a massive plot, Ark flashes behind Jimmy, launching him towards a tree, and breaking all of his bones. A few moments later, the bandits were wiped out, and the children were happy to be saved. The elf girl needed a key to open the cage, and Ark broke the locks with his bare hands. The children were afraid of him, but Ark didn't mind because he was just happy that they were safe. They noticed that the bandits had placed slave collars around the children's necks, which can only be opened with high-level magic. Suddenly, Ark cast a spell and managed to open the slave collars. He also healed a girl, and the hot elf girl realizes that this guy is no ordinary knight. She then calls a magical bird, and sends a message to her companions. Ark learns that this bird is a spirit creature that would be used like a messenger pigeon, and was impressed by the fantasy stuff. Later, her allies appeared to take the children back to their village, and the children thanked Ark for saving them. The elf girl introduced herself as Ariane, and thanked him for helping her. Just then, a magical bird appears with a message that some elves were being held captive in the village of Diento, and requesting her assistance. Ariane asks Ark if she could hire him to help her, but Ark wonders if her companions would have any concerns if she hired him. However, Ariane trusts him, so he accepts her offer. He then uses a teleportation spell, and they arrive at the Lidl River. Ariane was impressed because she had never met anyone who could use teleportation magic without incantation. Then they planned to enter the town of Diento, and Ariane revealed that they would be meeting her companion named Donka, and hearing those words, Ark thought that he was about to meet another hot elf chick. However, it turned out to be an elf dude.
Damn!
Afterwards, they went to an inn to eat and discuss the current situation. Ark was hungry but he couldn't let them see his face. Donka acts rudely towards Ark because he doesn't trust him, but just then Ponta appears, and Donka understands that Ark must be a good person. Donka then shared the information he had gathered about the kidnapped elves, and they decided to wait until late night before the rescue mission started. Meanwhile, Ark takes off to run some errands, and Donka wonders why Ariane trusts an outsider. Ariane tells her story with Ark, and Donka understands that Ark was a trustworthy person. Meanwhile, Ark uses the time to buy many delicious dishes and enjoys it with Ponta. We then see the kidnapped elf girls, and a bandit reports that the elves will be sold tomorrow. Later at night, the rescue mission began, and Ark's group was observed by a ninja. He activated his dimension move, and Ariane was surprised that he could also use short-range teleportation magic. Following this, Ariane tries to enter the hiding place through a window, but it's a bit tight.
Yeah, boy.
As they looked around the building, they saw a few of the mercenaries were killed while they were sleeping, and realized that there was a murderer among them, so they decided to split up. Ark used his dimension move skill to move around so he wouldn't make any noise. Following this, he entered a room and found more bandits killed. Suddenly, he was attacked by a ninja, but he was happy to encounter a ninja cat girl. Suddenly, Panta showed himself, and the ninja girl realized that Ark is a good person. She decides to give him the information that would help him find the elves, and she also gave Panta a snack. Before leaving, she told him that there were 2 elves that were also trapped in the mansion. Following this, Ark showed Ariane and Donka the documents, and also provided information on where elves were held captive. Ariane wondered how he got this top secret information, but he didn't tell her about the ninja girl. Just then, a group of bandits entered the room, but Ariane burned them alive with a single strike. We then see the frightened elf children, who heard loud noises, and Ariane entered the door. Ark flexed his bones to open the prison cell, and freed the girls. Following this, Ark teleported them outside, but noticed that the children had curse collars around their necks. He used his uncurse magic to free them, and Donka was impressed by Ark. Afterwards, Donka decided to bring the children home and left the rest to Ariane. He entrusted Ark to watch over Ariane, and he promised to watch her 24/7.
What do you mean by that?
Ariane then held on to Ark, who used his dimension move to transport them into Lord Diento's mansion. Meanwhile, we see the ninja girl watching Ark from a distance, and she hopes that their path would cross soon. Inside Lord Diento's manor, 2 pretty elves are tied up, and Diento rubs his white cream on their belly. He scolds his son Jimmy for losing the elves, and asks him to watch his father handling these elves.
Yeah, boy.
Meanwhile, Ark and Ariane reach the top of the mansion, but they are seen by the guards. Ark destroys a giant bell, and they sneak into the mansion. The rest of the guards are searching for them, but they were hiding in plain sight. Diento was informed about the intruders, and just then, Ark and Ariane blew through the door. Jimmy was shocked to see them, and seeing the elf situation, Ariane crushed Diento's plot-making abilities. As Ark was interrogating Jimmy, he accidentally destroyed a wall, and found a hidden room. Ark planned to tell Ariane about it, but she was too busy crushing some nuts, and the 2 elves joined in to give him a pain for lifetime.
Damn!
The guards showed up, and Ark asked Ariane to take care of them. Ariane unleashed her ultimate spell to burn all of them alive in a single blow while Ark was busy stealing all of Diento's gold, but when Ariane wondered what he was doing, Ark revealed that he was stealing the money to stop the criminal organizations. After they stole the money, Lord Diento's mansion exploded. Ark teleported to safety, and suspected that the ninja girl caused the explosion. Ariane thanked him for his help, and gave him his reward. Although he now has all of Diento's gold, being the ultimate gold digger, he accepts her reward. She then asks him to accompany her to the land of elves, and he agrees to accompany her but explains that he cannot remove his armor as she may turn her sword against him if she learns the truth. However, when Ariane swore that she wouldn't, Ark took off his helmet. When she asked him how he became this ugly, he told her a fake story about being cursed. She believed his story, and thought that there may be someone in her village who can fix his curse, while Ark was looking forward to having more adventures and enjoying his time with the hot elf girl. The following day, King Olav learned about the incident of Lord Diento, and the first Prince Sek thinks that the elves were responsible. He told his father that Diento was rumored to be involved in kidnapping elves, but second Prince Dekars became angry, and asked his brother if he had any proof. Second Princess Uriana thinks that they need to find out the truth soon because there could be severe consequences with the elves, so the King Olav decides to send her to Limburg to negotiate with the elves. Back in the forest, Ark decides to use his dimension move to scout ahead, but falls into a hole. However, they discover a river, and after managing to catch a fish from the river, they spend their night cooking their meal. Just then, Ariane's stomach growled, and Ark realized that it would be impossible for a single fish to feed all the weight on her chest. So, he decided to catch a boar for her, but while he was gone, she saw Ponta sleeping, and couldn't resist the adorable little fox. When Ark returned, he saw Ariane rubbing Ponta on her massive chest. Although he enjoyed seeing her, he wished he had been the one instead of Ponta. The next morning, we see Princess Uriana being served tea by a servant, and she's worried because she knows that her brother Dakars was likely involved in the elf's kidnapping. She knew that Prince Sect wouldn't tolerate it, which would cause big problems. Meanwhile, Ark and Ariane arrived at the elven village gate, and Ark was very excited. Ariane told the guards her name, and they opened the gate. Ariane told Ark to wait for her until she got permission from the elder. While waiting, Ark started playing with Ponta, and they had a lot of fun. Many hours passed, and Ariane returned to pick up Ark. She showed him around the elven village, and he was amazed. Following this, he was introduced to the village elder Dylan and his wife Glennie, who are also Ariane's parents. Dylan thanked Ark for helping in saving the elves, but wondered why they had attacked Lord Diento's mansion. Ark explained the incident to him, and Dylan planned to report it to the other elders the next day. After the discussion, dinner was served, and Ark learned that Ariane's parents knew about his circumstances, so he took off his helmet. The next morning, Ark woke up surprised to find Ponta sleeping inside his chest. Glennie wished him good morning, and planned to make him breakfast. Meanwhile, Ariane and her father were on their way to meet with the other elders. They entered a magical circle, and teleported to the forest capital called Maple. The other elders learned about the incident of the kidnapped elves, and the chief elder Brian asked Dylan to explain the incident in detail. Meanwhile, Ark is being shown around the village by Glennie. He noticed that the elves were afraid of him and felt a bit uncomfortable. Just then, the girls he had rescued showed up, and they thanked Ark for saving them. After that, Glennie asked Ark to spar with her because she had taken a liking to him. Meanwhile, the other elders were shocked that humans had broken the treaty, and they decided to continue the elves' rescue missions, even if it might lead to war. Back in the village, Ark was getting ready to fight Glennie, who explained that she had taught Ariane swordsmanship, and wanted to test his long Excalibur.
What do you mean by that?
Suddenly, Glennie flashed behind him, and Ark was surprised by her speed. He became overwhelmed, and Glennie said it was his mistake for underestimating her. Ark was grateful to learn from Glennie, and planned to do his best, but got his ass kicked instead. Meanwhile, Ariane apologized to her father for perhaps starting a war, but Dylan wasn't angry with his daughter as she made the right decision. Afterwards, Ariane found out that her big sister Evine was getting hitched, and just then, Evine appeared, and was happy to see her baby sister. She had missed rubbing her face against her massive plots, and their father left the two daughters alone.
Women.
Evine began teasing Ariane, and she found out that Ariane had a crush on someone. Meanwhile, Ark was still fighting Glennie and tried to surprise her with his dimension move, but unfortunately, his attempt failed, and he lost again. Glennie noticed that the sun was almost setting, so they decided to call it a day. Later, Ark planned to take a hot bath before dinner, and a few moments later, he washed Ponta, and they had a lot of fun. Ark enjoyed the hot water and loved this world. Meanwhile, Ariane returned home, and decided to take a bath.
Yeah, boy.
However, she was shocked to see a skeleton, and attacked him. Later, Ariane could no longer look Ark in the eyes, and Glennie wondered if something had happened between them. Just then, Dylan showed up, and he told Ark about their current situation. He asked him to continue assisting his daughter, and in exchange, he offered to give him directions to the sacred spring, which is rumored to have special healing qualities, and may break his curse. This place was close to Lord Crown, a rare dragon tree that houses the Dragon Lord, and they could get permission for him to enter there. That night, Ark wondered if his avatar had really become a skeleton because of a curse, and tried his uncursed spell on his hand, which turned it back to normal, making him shocked. This is where the video ends. See you in the next one.